Okay, so now that we've seen the home page, what we're going to do is actually edit that page. So from the back end, or what I call the back end, we're going to make sure that the home page is highlighted. All you have to do is just uh, click on that specific page or that step, and as soon as this area is loaded, we can click on the edit page. That will load up the editor for the entire page. Now, on this page, we're going to have the top menu, which I will briefly go over, mainly the areas that you will be concerned with and the ones that you will work with the most. And then we have the rest of the page, and you'll see that there's this light green menu. As I hover over this specific area, there's a light green menu with a settings, a clone, save, and delete. And what that does is that's the section. So the page is split up into sections. And this top section is actually the header. It's exactly what you see here on the page. As I scroll down, you're going to see the Certified Probate Real Estate Specialist area, and that is also just one small section. As I scroll further down, the What is a Probate CMA report, that's also one section. The Find out how much the estate home is worth, that is also one section, even though it applies to this area here. Understanding the probate process is also a section. The resources for probate home sales, or the Seller Resource Center, is one section. The probate timeline is another section. And then the footer is its own section as well. Let me scroll back up here and give you a brief overview of the top menu. So this first button on the left, and we're going to go from left to right. The first button on the left is the exit button. All that's going to do is take you back to the overview for the entire super funnel. The next one is the desktop view. This is the view that people are going to see when they are visiting your website from a computer, from a desktop computer. If they want to, or if you want to see what your website will look like on mobile, that's the next button. And we'll go into those a little bit later. So those three buttons you will want to get familiar with. The next button we really don't need to worry about. But inside of the settings, this is where we want to focus a little bit of time, especially when we are starting out on each page. And what we want to focus on is the SEO metadata. If we click on that, a panel slides in from the right. It says SEO metadata. And this is where you're going to start updating your website. And we're going to go ahead and start updating that. And I'm going to put in my name. So all of a sudden, I typed in my name for the title, and you can see down at the bottom for the SEO preview, my name shows up. The other area that you'll want to focus on is the description. Now, currently what I've done is I've pre-populated that information for you. You can update it with whatever description you want for the page, but this is just something that I've pre-populated for you. And of course, it's not going to be the same on every page. Each page for the website is going to be a little bit different. And so some of them will have some description filled out, others will have nothing filled out, and that's up to you to fill that information out if you so please. So currently we have certified probate real estate specialist in Florida trained specifically to help families in their time of need during the probate process. Now you can add to that, you can take this all out and change it. That's all up to you. The keywords area is also something that's going to be important for you, especially for each page. These keywords are going to help you be found on Google. And the more detailed you are with your keywords, the better of a result you will get. Now, I will preface this with some background on SEO, or search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is a strategy of updating your entire website page by page with not just the description and the keywords, but also the content that is on each page. There are various methods and strategies that people use to make sure that the SEO optimization for every page is up to the Google standards. And that will help you to start ranking higher and higher on the Google search. So currently what I've done is I've already populated some information here. You can change that if you want. You can add to it, but you have realtor, probate, real estate, certified, and Florida. Now you can change that, add some more if you want again. And then the next thing is your name as the author. I'm going to go ahead and select my name there. And then the next thing is this social image. Now this is optional. You can put that in if you want, but this is going to be your first introduction into the image editor or the image library. So if we come here and we click on this button here for the image, it's going to open up your image library, and you'll see that I have a bunch of images here. And what I want is I want to find my one image that I actually enjoy putting in, especially if I'm going to be a little bit more professional and definitely show people that I have some kind of business established. And for me, being an agent, I'm going to use this My Veteran Agent logo. All I did was I double-clicked on that logo, and it populated the social image area with a URL to that image. Now, if I scroll down, you'll see that it populated the preview with my logo. So all I have to do now that I've populated everything on this panel is just click outside of the panel. And now it's accepted that information, and I'm back on the homepage editor. What I want to do now is I want to save that information. I want to make sure that the page saves every time I make some kind of change. So that was the SEO metadata. We're not going to have to worry about the tracking code just yet. There's another area where we're going to set that up, so we're not going to have to worry about that on each individual page. Custom CSS, you don't have to worry about. The background actually has a image that you can populate it with. You can add a different color for the background, or if you have a video that you want to show, you can actually paste your YouTube URL to the video right in here, and it will start to play the video as a background. One note on videos is that if you do decide to use video and it's outside of the scope of this funnel, it can slow the website down. And you want the website to be as efficient as possible, especially when you have prospects trying to get as much information from you in the shortest amount of time. So I'm going to turn that off, and I'm just going to leave this information alone. I'm going to go ahead and click outside of that, and it closes that panel. And if we look at typography, really, this is optional. What we have here is we have the content font, we have headline font, and then we have text color and link color. A lot of this has already been set for you, and if you want to play around with that and see how it looks on your website, you are free to do so. And then there are themes that you can select. So currently we have the Montserrat and Roboto theme selected, and if you come back to the settings, you'll see Montserrat for the headline font and then Roboto for the content font. So let's go ahead and click outside of that. And then the very last area of that settings is the general settings. And there's really nothing you should have to do here. What I want to point out is the search engines option here. And I have it set to show, and that's because you want the search engines to scan your website for the title, the keywords, your description, and also the content that's on your page. This way they can start to rank your website as people start to search for you or for the content that you have on your website. We don't have to do anything about the save page as template right now. I will show you a little bit later how that's going to help you in developing other pages. The next thing is the pop-up, and we don't have to worry about that. And then these two buttons next to pop-up is a undo and a redo. So if you make any changes and you want to undo them, this is where you will do it. And then if you want to see what something is going to look like after you've made that change, you can toggle between those two to see what the change really looks like and be able to decide on which edit you want to keep. The next area is the sections. We don't have to worry about that, nor do we have to worry about rows, columns, or elements. What we do want to look at is the preview and the save. Make sure that when you are changing anything on your site that you are saving as often as possible. And then when you want to preview what your changes look like, this is where you're going to do it. So right now I haven't made any other changes except for the SEO metadata. And if I were to preview this, the only thing you're going to see is the title on the tab for the website. So if I preview this, you're going to see that the title for the tab has been updated, and I will prove that again by closing that. And I'm going to go back into the SEO metadata, and in the title I'm going to say probate real estate specialist. I'm going to click outside of that, save it, And let's see what happens when we preview. So when we preview, we'll see now that the title for the website or for this page is Miguel Feliciano, Probate Real Estate Specialist. So that is where the title will start to be visible for the website. And you see that as I moved my mouse up towards that tab, the pop-up became visible. So now what we're going to do is work on the rest of this section, and I'll do that in the next video.